everyone. Today I'm going to give you my reading roundup for the whole of 2023. My name is Harmony. If you're a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. On this channel I talk about books and book reviews, any other reading related content really. So yeah, as I say, I'm going to give you my reading roundup for the whole of the year 2023, and this is also going to be a bit of a reflection on the goals I set for myself last year and the goals that I've set for this year 2024. So last year 2023 I had decided that for some reason my pages goal was going to be 6,000 pages. That was how many I wanted to read, and I achieved 96% of that with 5,783 pages, which I'm pretty pleased with actually. Can't say better than that. I'll have to take the Storygraph's word for some things because some of the books that I read don't actually have print page numbers in them because the Braille translation programs don't always put them in, or the books themselves may not have page numbers, of course. I know a lot of them do. Well, as for the actual number of books though, my aim in 2023 was to read 44 books, and I only managed to read 17 books, so that was about 19% of my goal. But again, I would have liked to have got more books read, but there were various things going on last year, and also I slowed down at times because I was having issues with technology or not able to get hold of books or something, and so yeah, I wasn't able to read as many. I did come very close to finishing 19 books, but I ended up carrying 2 of those over to this year. So the goal that I wanted to achieve last year was to finish all of the books that I'd started in 2022, because I had like 4 books, I think it was, outstanding that I started in 2022, and thankfully at various points in the year I managed to finish all of those. Now this year, in 2024, I'm glad to say I only have 2 books left from last year to finish, but at the time of recording this, in the very early hours of this morning, I have also finished one of those books, so I'm pretty pleased with that. the reason I set my goal so fairly high last year, 44 books, was because I wanted to do uh, the whole of the remainder of the Poirot series by Agatha Christie, um, read the Lewis trilogy, and there were some various other things that I wanted to get to, which I can't now remember what they are, but also one of those goals was to finish the books that I started, which I did. And unfortunately, I failed dismally at the Hercule Poirot series goal, because I only managed to finish 2 books. I finished Murder on the Links in early 2023, and in December 2023, actually on Christmas Day, for a lack of anything better to do, I started The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. But yeah, I'm a stickler for reading things in series order, so I was not gonna jump all the way to the 5th or 6th book when I haven't read the 3rd and 4th one yet. So I will carry on with my reading roundup, and then at the end of the video I'll tell you my goals for 2024. Oh yeah, something that I also completed in 2023 was I did read the whole of the Lewis trilogy, which I was really pleased about and thoroughly enjoyed. Alright, so I'll go on with the moods of the books in the year 2023, the moods of the books that I read. So Mysterious, that was 8 books according to the Storygraph. Reflective and Adventurous were both 4 books, which fair enough. I know one of those books was Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. That was considered adventurous, which makes sense. What else? Can't remember off the top of my head. Informative and Dark, both of those were at 3 books. I know one of the informative ones was A History of the World in 100 Objects. That was one of those books that you kind of, it's alright for dipping in and out of. It's great if you want to have a bit of a start at something to research. But if you just want something to read in one go, it's really long. Well, I say really long, it's like, no, well, it's not the longest, but it is 707 pages. Alright. Light-hearted, hopeful and emotional books there were 2 each of those particular kind of moods. And there was also 1 each of intense, funny, inspiring, and challenging. Which, yeah, some of them can be a bit of a challenge, but most of them were like, okay, whatever. Alright, let's carry on with the pace of the books now. So, 3 of the books I read during the course of the year were slow paced, 5 were medium paced, and 9 were fast paced. And the length of the books, so this is an interesting one. Less than 300 pages is 9 books. Wow. Okay. Yeah, can we say a big, massive wow to that? Personally, I prefer somewhat longer books because they go more in depth. But okay, I can see why, because I did read a fair amount of fiction, and a certain number of those tend to be short. 300 to 499 pages is 6 books, and over 500 pages was 2 books. I happen to know, by the way, that those over 500 pages included A History of the World in 100 Objects by Neil MacGregor, and I think the other one was I'll Keep You Safe by Peter May. Fiction versus non-fiction. Alright. I said I read a lot of fiction during the course of the year, but 12 books were fiction and 5 were non-fiction. That makes sense. So, the categories of the books that I read were mystery and crime. Both of those 8 books fell into those genres. 7 books fell into classics. Ow, autumn. Alright, now we've got several genres. We've got several genres now with 2 books each. Thriller, memoir, history, fantasy, and autobiography. Wow, all of those have 2 books in each. I would argue that any of those fall into autobiography, really. Except for The Psychic Adventures of Derek Acorah. Yes, that's autobiographical, which is fair enough. But the rest, not really. Okay, so this is a long list of genres with only 1 book in each. Middle grade, reference, art, young adult, true crime, literary, historical, biography, and contemporary. Autumn, can you be quiet, please? Apparently not. uh, right, my most read authors during the year 2023 was, of course, Peter May, who had 4 books, and Agatha Christie had 3 books, which is fair enough because, yeah, I read 2 standalone Agatha Christie's and I finished one of the um, Hercule Poirot series and started the other one. And I've already mentioned the Peter May books. Those 4 were the Lewis trilogy and I'll Keep You Safe. So, let's see. The most popular reading months, right. In January, I read the most number of books, 4 books that was, because, well, I was finishing things and, well, finishing some of the things anyway, and I did the January Pages Challenge, and I read 1 or 2 other things start to finish. So that was 4 books. But I read in September, I got, that was the most number of pages that I read according to the story graph. So in September I read a total of 1,344 pages. So I'm looking now at my star ratings. 1 book was 3 stars. 3 books were 4.5 stars. There was 1 4.75 stars and 12 5-star ratings. Hey, just a thought. Does anyone want me to go and do a video of all my 5-star rating books of last year, or my like ranking of 5-star books, or tell you all the books I read last year? Let me know what you think in the comments. Well, as for the goals just now, I've already started working my way towards those. I'm not going to bother with the Pages Challenge, the January Pages Challenge this year, because although that was fun last year, this year the stuff I'm reading doesn't really have page numbers, like it doesn't have print page numbers, so annoyingly I can't keep track of the pages that I've read, which I quite like keeping track of stuff like that, just because it's fun. And anyway, books with page numbers in them have actually a better way of referencing things. But what I am doing this year is I'm setting a more reasonable reading goal. For the same reason, I'm not going to bother with the number of pages that I aim to read in a year. But my books that I aim to read this year will be 28. I've already finished one book and I'm well on the way to finishing another one. I'm about, what, a third of the way through, I should think. Judging by the number of chapters anyway. And yeah, so I'm also just about to film the video on the books that I plan to read in 2024. So yeah, I will probably not leave a link to it, but you can see it on my channel if you take a look around. So, one of my so apart from the 28 books, my other goal this year is to read more by new authors to me last year, or read more recommendations, which is a goal that I set myself because I've read at least one author's fiction work, well, one of their fiction books anyway, and I want to read a book of their non-fiction. And the other goal that I have is I want to continue more series things. So I'm finishing, well, by the end of January I will be finished with The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, and so I'll hopefully be continuing with the Hercule Poirot series, but I will also be carrying on the Anne of Green Gables series, because I've heard the audio of some of those books, but I've not actually sat down and read them. But yeah, that's really all that I'm planning on doing for reading goals as such. Although I am going to be joining some challenges this year. I'm going to be reading some stuff for as part of the Homework Book Club, and I'm going to be probably joining in with the Victober challenge, like where you read Victorian books in the month of October. And I'm also going to be doing the Shorty September challenge. Do you guys have any reading goals, challenges, any of these kind of things for this year? yeah, let's talk about that. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you in the next video.